Yes, very good morning. The last point, Ricardian equivalence theorem. It can be asked for objective. Okay, that's the reason we are the last girls. Ricardian equivalence theorem. So what is Ricardian equivalence theorem? Dekho. According to Ricardo, that is David Ricardo, is a very famous classical economist along with Adam Smith. David Ricardo is a very famous economist along with Adam Smith. Deficit will not boost deficit will not boost the economy. What do you mean by that? Ricardo believed that deficit is not good for the economy. That means government should follow balanced budget. What do you mean by deficit, children? Expenditure is more than income. Because the deficit means expenditure is more than income. Expenditure is more than income. Expenditure is more than income. So even Ricardo believed that expenditure should not be too much and it should not be, rather encouraged. So even all the classical economists were believing in balanced budget, where revenue is equivalent to expenditure. Okay. So we have finished this. Income is equivalent to expenditure. Now we will be starting with functional finance. अभी जो discuss किया उसका क्या नाम था? Sound finance. Good. Now we are going to discuss functional finance. Right. The question is meaning and features of sound finance. Look, after 1930, the concept of sound finance become very, very popular. That means after the Great Depression, world said goodbye to sound finance and world started moving towards functional finance. I'm repeating, after 1930 Great Depression, Say's law of market, invisible hand, Adam Smith's concept, everything became a failure. So world began to move towards functional finance. Very, very important objective question. The concept of functional finance was introduced by Abba P. Leonard. It's a very, very important objective question. Functional finance was introduced by Dash. Functional finance was introduced by Dash. Kya naam hai? Abba P. Leonard. He is not an Indian. Abba P. Leonard, that is A.P. Leonard. A.P. Leonard is the person, very, very important question, objective mein, who has introduced the concept of functional finance. Yeah, A.P. Leonard. Functional finance believed in, the strong role of the government since 1930. This is a fundamental difference. Functional finance, short form use kar. Functional finance gave importance to, gave importance to the role of government. The role of government. Underline. The role of government. Stop. They believed that government has to play very significant role in functional finance. Very significant role in functional finance. very significant role in functional finance. Abhi said the features of functional finance. Features of functional finance. Okay, so first and foremost, you are understanding the difference between sound finance and functional finance. Sound finance means role of government was minimum. Functional finance means role of government is maximum. Sound finance was important before 1930. Functional finance is important after 1930. Okay, these are the two main features. Further features we are going to discuss. Yes, someone please give me the textbook. Who is having the textbook? Nobody has brought the textbook. This pass it further. Aage pass karo. I just wanted to see the points. Features of functional finance. First feature is market failure. First feature is market failure. One minute. और ये फैन भी चालू करें ना. Who has switched off this? Thank you. Page number 165. In case you are depending upon the textbook later part of the time. 165, 166, and 167. 165, 66, and 67. New book. Old book mein 2 page here and there. Features of functional finance. So first one what we are going to discuss is the feature is market failure. What do you mean by that? Market failure means put an arrow and write. The Great Depression of 1930. The Great Depression of 1930. The Great Depression of 1930 proved the world. 1930 proved, P-R-O-V-E-D, proved the world market is a failure. Market is not a failure. Market cannot be perfect. Market cannot be perfect. And they will fail. F-A-I-L. They will fail. They will fail full stop. Sometimes market do not correct by itself. Sometimes market do not correct by itself. Sometimes market do not correct by itself. Therefore, economy cannot depend upon market fully. Economy cannot depend upon market fully. Okay, you are listening. Every student एक बार ये समझ में आने पर mistake नहीं होगा. But I see every year you are getting confused between sound finance and functional finance. The very simple reason is you are not understanding the concept. One is before 1980, other is after 1980. It is simple calculation. See, what does this functional finance emphasize, boys? Functional finance बोलता है market is a total failure. I told around 300 years world believed that market is always right. Says law of market में पढ़ा. Supply create its own demand. ऐसा बैठेगा मैंने कुछ 11th standard में पढ़ाया करके. Semester 1 का semester 3 का module 1 में we have seen. According to Say's law of market, supply create its own demand. That means market is very efficient. Market knows what is the supply, market knows what is the demand. then the price will be fixed. But then the Great Depression of 1930 has asked $1 million question. If market is perfect, if private individuals are very perfect, how did the economic depression occur? That is the question. Market perfect, individual perfect, okay. Magic of private property turned sand into gold, सब कुछ ठीक है. Then how did the market fail? 1930 depression में. Not only that, market did not pick up also. अपने आप बाहर नहीं आया. 1930 में depression चालू हो गया. 1936 में Keynes has written the book General Theory of Employment. From the market came out of the depression. It has taken 6 years for the market. So don't think that market is always, that Mr. Perfect. And you can so blindly believe in this market. Let us take the same example. I told you COVID has also proved that market is imperfect. Because all on a sudden COVID has come, March 2019. Okay, March 2020 is over. March 2021 is also over. And we are approaching towards March 2022. 3 years are almost done. We are not able to find a solution to that COVID. कभी आएगा कभी जाएगा किसको भी मालूम नहीं. हमने एक फिगर बनाएगा बोलेगा अभी फिगर कम हो गया. Okay, so market is a failure. Either way it is proving. The reason is why children market are failure? Because every time your assumptions will not work out. मैंने 100 book produce करते 100 books demand होगा. This is the theory. And sometimes it will work out. But many times, and another example, the best example is Russia and Ukraine crisis. Russia-Ukraine, you are aware that Russia has already invaded or attacked Ukraine. Okay, a issue mean stock market has crashed like anything. Per day 2,000 points have fallen. What does it show? Market is again imperfect. Because nobody could predict all this. So market में enter करने वाला person risk लेने के लिए तैयार होना चाहिए. आपको ready-made सब कुछ हाथ में मिलेगा करके पैसा लेकर market में enter नहीं करने के. Because market is imperfect. Imperfect market में क्या होगा? The price will be highly fluctuating. मैं आपको और एक example बोलते हैं. 17 साल पहले, later you can Google it out and see. Before 15 years, 1 liter of petrol was costing say 40 rupees. Today, the same petrol is costing 105 rupees. It has gone up to 115, beachman. So almost you can see that it is nearing 3 times increase. Itna oil, why this is happening so? The reason is very clear. Market becomes a total failure. It is not able to assume. Market को समझ में नहीं आता है कौन सा कब हम एक प्रॉब्लम का बाहर आएगा. प्रॉब्लम छोटा है या बड़ा है, मार्केट cannot understand. Who can understand that? Only government. Government can understand. I told you now $1 is costing 75 rupees. Okay, 10-15 साल पहले $1 was costing around 35-40 rupees. Similar story with the petrol. पेट्रोल का भाव इतना कम था, अभी पेट्रोल का भाव it is touching sky high. Some 15 years before, why the price of petrol was very less, children? Government was fixing the price of petrol. That is known as administered rate. Government important item का price fix करेगा. I am asking you, India में अभी भी government is fixing the price of certain things. Give an example. I am talking that in the hardcore macro, you gotta be careful. I told government knows the market. Government is like your mother and father. Parents को अपने बच्चे के बारे में बोलने का जरूरत है नहीं. They know the pulse. Similarly, government knows the pulse. Market does not know the pulse. I told you some years before 1 liter petrol was costing 35 rupees or 40 rupees. I am not talking 100 years before. 10 साल पहले का story. Today the same petrol is costing 110 rupees. So इतना increase होने का reason क्या है children? Now price of petrol is decided by market. For your information, अभी price of petrol is decided by the market. Demand ज्यादा होने पर पेट्रोल का प्राइस इंक्रीज होगा, डिमांड कम होने पर पेट्रोल का प्राइस डिक्रीज होगा. ये क्रूड ऑयल के अलावा आपको मालूम है गवर्नमेंट इज इम्पोजिंग इतना सारा टैक्सेस. ये सब के वजह से प्राइसेस ऑफ पेट्रोल इज इंक्रीजिंग. एंड बट मार्केट and government has given the market to control it. Government is no longer controlling the price of petrol. Again, you take the case of LPG cylinder. घर में मम्मी को पूछने पर मालूम पड़ेगा 10 साल पहले one cylinder was costing around 300 rupees. Today one gas cylinder is costing 900. Convenience we can say 1000. हमारा convenience के लिए. So 3 times it has increased. You will as the young children, you will think, madam, ऐसा क्यों होता है? I told you 10 years before government was controlling the price. So the price was less. Abhi government said that we will not control the price. Let the market decide the price. Let the market decide the price. So when market is deciding the price, automatically price will increase when the demand is more. अभी our पेट्रोल का प्राइस इंक्रीज होने का चांसेस बहुत ज्यादा है. What is the reason? एक करंट सिनेरियो में पेट्रोल का प्राइस और बढ़ेगा. सुनिए, market is deciding it. I am agreeing, but why? There is an important factor now. Everybody is afraid. If you are listening to news, you should listen. Everybody is afraid about the petroleum price. Everybody is afraid about the crude oil price. Reason is suppose petrol ka price is increased by 5 rupees. It is a huge amount. The very next day, rickshaw wala strike mein jayega, auto wala strike mein jayega. They want the minimum fare to be increased. Okay, vegetable ka price increase hoga. They are getting the vegetables via truck. They want either pay petrol or diesel or CNG, whatever. So it is a corollary process. The government, when they are coming in the picture, that matter is different. When it is given to private, I told you we should be ready to accept that fact. And even now you did not tell me why did I say that price of crude oil will increase. Last 4 दिन में gold price was increasing like anything. 4 दिन continuously. Madam, आप इतना इंटरनेशनल मैटर बोलते हैं, हमको चेंबूर का आगे का सुनना ही नहीं चाहिए. Then, my dear children, not because of that. So I have told you 2 reasons, 2 factors. I ask you the reason why the crude oil prices will increase. The simple reason is Ukraine-Russia attack. Because Russia is providing 1/3 of the oil. Now all the countries have put sanctions on Russia. And countries are not going to accept the oil from Russia, point number 1. Point number 2, because of this war, supply will be affected. So when the supply is affected, demand is more, what will happen? Price will increase. Please prepare for that. 115 होगा, 120 होगा barrel का, oil price बढ़ जाएगा. Oil price बढ़ने पर diesel का price increase होगा, petrol का price increase होगा. इसलिए बोलते हैं market is a total failure. Don't think that Mr. Market is always right. Mr. Market was right during the period of JBC's law. Keynes has proved that market is not successful, government is successful. इसलिए today I told you have to listen to the news. दिन में एक बार तो सुनो कभी भी. More than 20,000 children, students are stuck up in Ukraine. Madam, हमको क्या लेना भी नहीं, देना भी नहीं. I told you don't be so selfish. And that children, they say they are not getting food. There is all the flights are cancelled. How they will come back to India? Europe से आने के लिए government तो plane भेजना पड़ेगा. वो भी 20,000 बच्चे को एक साथ नहीं लाएगा. It is not a ship. It's an aeroplane. So the problem is there are so many uncertainties. ज्यादा uncertainty आने पर market will become total failure. अब देखा होगा नहीं तो सुना होगा. I hope sometimes one boy and one girl might have heard it is good. 2 दिन पहले, that is Thursday, share market has crashed by 2,600 points. Sensex has crashed by 2,600 points. Nifty by around 700-800 points. I told the last 5 years the historical fall ना वो. मैडम वो भी आपको क्या करने का, आपको बहुत कुछ करने का है. उसकी वजह से what will happen? There already it is coming in the paper. That is Malad में one businessman committed suicide because of the share market crash. People are investing the money and you are realizing that your money is gone or the prices have come down like anything. And so what is happening is, don't think market is always successful. Interesting knowledge के लिए बोलते हैं, there is something known as Southeast Asian crisis. ये थोड़ा सुनने के लिए पहला Southeast Asia किधर है मालूम होना चाहिए. That is more important. I have just rubbed it, nothing else. Southeast Asian crisis. Google out करने पर बहुत information मिलेगा. Southeast crisis, Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia crisis. This has happened in 1990s. Southeast Asia में Malaysia, okay, Singapore, Korea, these are the countries. उधर इतना ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम हो गया, एक हफ्ते के लिए शेयर मार्केट बंदी कर रहेगा. I'm talking about 1990s crisis. एक हफ्ते के लिए शेयर मार्केट has been closed down because इतना ज्यादा गिरता था शेयर मार्केट. Economy was almost come to a standstill. Then why nothing has happened to India? The reason is that period में India में government was more powerful. Whereas Southeast Asian country में market was powerful. Market was powerful and government was less powerful. So the world has seen that now don't talk too much about the market. Market can become failure. If demand is not equivalent to supply, there will be instability in the market. Please remember it very clearly. Then second point is importance of fiscal policy. Functional finance give importance to use of fiscal policy. Functional finance give importance to use of fiscal policy. Use of fiscal policy. Use of fiscal policy. Full stop. Fiscal policy include 1, 2, 3 level. Fiscal policy include 1, taxation. 1, taxation. Second, public expenditure. Third, public borrowing. Public borrowing, मतलब government borrowing. Public मतलब government. कल लिखा था एक point और भी ऐसा लिखते हैं first time सुनता है करके. Okay, fiscal policy include 3 points. What are they? Taxation, public expenditure, you are right, and debt. Okay. Sound finance believed that, paragraph change karo. Sound finance believed that basic objective of public finance, was to increase the revenue. However, functional finance argued that government has to be very active. Government has to be very active. Government has to be very active, and fiscal policy has to be used in the most appropriate manner. Fiscal policy has to be used in the most appropriate manner. As a result, it is the role of the government, it is the duty of the government. It is the duty of the government. It is the duty of the government to interfere and take the economy out of depression. Take the economy out of depression. पढ़ो क्या लिखा है करके will ask you the question. क्या लिखा है पढ़ो. अनिल पहले क्वेश्चन बोलते हैं so that you can have the answer. Okay. Why the fiscal policy has to be important? What is the reason? Fiscal policy has to be very important. That is what EP radar and all of this are thinking. My question is why fiscal policy is important? Correct. Market is imperfect. Market is a failure. Market is imperfect. Market is failure. And आप देखते हैं classical economists they believe that public finance means only raising the revenue. But modern economics, which is functional finance, proves that all governments are welfare governments. Same point you make. Public finance proves that. Second paragraph, you can change the paragraph. Public finance proves that. All modern governments are. उसको सेंटेंस का पॉइंट
We have started career in our college, so we have orientation program in the next week. But before that, I want to know who are interested in the courses. There are basically two courses. One is for competitive exam and another one is for entrepreneurship development. Both the courses will be in Marathi, but the other benefit for getting is once you will register for that, you will get the membership for, say, if you are in Hasta, you will get the membership for the next year. This year will be next year. You have to pay 365 rupees for that, but the same membership will be continued. This year you will be able to get 5 courses free of cost, only 5 additional courses. Other additional courses. I will share the list of those different courses in the group. And you have to pay only exam fees for those 5 courses. So next year again, 5 courses along with these 2 basic courses you will get. So those who are interested, please, I'm circulating the page. As per your interest, you just write down your name, where you are interested, that you should write, and your mobile number is required. Thank you.
कुछ डाउट होने पर मैडम को पूछिए अभी. हाँ. Okay. Oh.
Online, it will be online through apps. If you know your page, you can all your doubts here. So it will be organized online.
I hope you understood what is this program. Government is providing free of charge. Yes, come on. Earlier, what happened during our period? Even if we wanted to go for IAS exam or we wanted to go for IFS, practically it was not possible. Reason was, जिधर हम रहते थे, उधर नजदीक में किधर भी coaching नहीं था. Kerala में there was no coaching itself, you can say. People have to go to Delhi for IAS, IPS and all. Today's scenario is changing. You are getting it free of charge. 365 is nothing. If you join private classes, you have to pay 2 lakh, 3 lakh for IAS coaching. And not only IAS, there are other posts in income tax department, custom department. There are so many posts out there. So try to make use of all these things. अभी कोविड का पीरियड में करने जाने के बाद सोता होगा, दूसरा क्या करते हैं? इतना बड़ा काम तो कुछ करेगा नहीं. So try to do such type of good things which will improve your biodata, and you can also improve your own confidence. Okay. So we were discussing हमारा functional finance totally गया किधर भी. क्या लिखा आपने last sentence? Modern government are welfare governments. Modern government are welfare government. Modern government are welfare government. Underline करो, ये भी MCQ में आएगा. Modern governments are dash. हाँ, वो तो सामने आंसर है ना, इसलिए इतने आवाज से बोलते हैं. Modern governments are welfare government, whereas the other one, sound finance में, they were police state. हमने पढ़ा. Government will interfere only when there is a need. Okay. I will take that sentence now.